Hello and welcome. Today we have a couple of interesting stories, including one about 14-year-old who ruined her aunt's expensive $20,000 coat, and now her aunt is threatening to get her arrested and sent to jail for it. Sit back, relax and enjoy. Am I the idiot for banishing my teenage daughter's friend from our house because she made fun of my weight? I, 37F, have two kids with my husband, 41M, a 14-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son. Our daughter has always been a little socially awkward, to the point that we've had her tested since we suspected her of being on the spectrum. Turns out she isn't on the spectrum, she's just a natural introvert. However, this year in school we were thrilled when our daughter made a new friend her age, since that is an area in which she struggles. Long story short, she recently invited her new friend over, with our approval, to have dinner at our house and then spend the night. So, my daughter's friend came over. My husband is usually the cook in the family, and this night was no exception. He made us all a really nice meal. During the course of said meal, I asked my daughter's friend, "Are you enjoying the food?" She responded, "Yes, your husband is a great cook. No wonder you've ended up a bigger woman." The room got quiet for several moments. My husband tried to laugh it off and change the subject, but I wasn't having it. The girl had just leveled a completely uncalled for insult at me. My daughter's friend seemed to realize that she'd messed up, but she didn't say anything else. We finished an awkward dinner in mostly silence, and my daughter's friend did stay the night. This was a couple of months ago. Recently, my daughter asked if she could have her friend back over, and I told her, sure, if she's going to apologize to me. When our daughter asked what I meant, I reminded her of what she'd said. My daughter responded that it was over and she didn't want to bring it up again. She then went to her father and asked. He said, sure, but she then told him what I'd said. He came to me and said, "Daughter's friend just felt awkward and tried to make a joke. It didn't land. For the sake of our daughter, can't you just let it go?" Yes, I could, but the thing is that I just want an apology from the girl. I need to see that she understands how rude she was before I can get on board with her and my daughter hanging out. My husband says that I am being weird for insisting on an apology from a 14-year-old. Especially since that girl is such a good friend of our daughter. I think it's weird that I'm still waiting for an apology from that same girl. Seriously, that's all I need. I just need to know that any friend of my daughter is willing to own up to her screw-ups. The top replies, "You are the idiot. Did it ever occur to you that the reason this girl and your daughter clicked as friends is that they're both socially awkward? She's a 14-year-old kid. Even with the best social skills, they often put their foot in their mouths. Let it go. Don't ruin your daughter's friendship because your ego was hurt by one offhand comment. You should have acted like an adult and gently redirect her acted. Have the kid back. If something happens again and it has a malicious tone, then yeah, go all Gandalf on her. You're just hurting your daughter by continuing to hold a grudge from a teenager." The second reply. Not even a matured teenager, so to speak. She's bloody 14, and if she is the same as Op's daughter, she was probably nervous as hell in a new house with new people having a lovely sit-down dinner. That can be intimidating as hell for anyone at any age. I remember when I was around 11/12, I turned to my old man after he told me off for something and said, "Hey, shut up, you're not my real dad." I had watched Friends the night before and Chandler had said it, so it was stuck in my head. When I saw my old man's face, I was crushed. 18 years later, and I still think about that moment, and it's probably gonna be no different for Op's daughter's friend. Kids do and say stupid shit. Original poster. Let it go. You are the idiot. The third reply. Around original poster's daughter's age. I was at a friend's house, we'll call her Jade, with another friend with the same name as me, Lisa. Jade's mom walked in. "Lisa, your dad's here to get you." I automatically responded with, "But my dad shouldn't even know where I am." All three of them just stared at me dumbfounded until I realized and went red and quiet. It wasn't even rude, but here I am at 30 and I still recall it occasionally and cringe from it. Teens, especially those of us who, like my ADHD self, are socially awkward, are just cringe sometimes. We mean nothing by it and we're just trying to figure out how to people. I've never thought maliciously about weights. Growing up with plus-size parents, Weight isn't something you place value on so much. That said, I feel like the friend's comment is something I might have slipped and said at that age with a similar prompt. I didn't know what was offensive or why it would be so. The second story. Am I the idiot for taking my niece to court over a coat? Update included. I, 28F, have a niece, 16F. She is my only sister's only child. 2 years ago I married a very wealthy man, 34M, and because of the pandemic, last Christmas was my first with my in-laws. My mother-in-law gifted me a coat that is worth more than $20,000. I saw her wearing it, asked her where she bought it, and she said that it will be my Christmas gift from her. I didn't know how much it was. I knew it was expensive, but I thought maybe $3,000 at most. I was visiting my sister last January when my niece saw it. She Googled the brand and showed me how much it really was. I won't lie, I didn't wear it after that because I was afraid of ruining it. Last week, I wore it while visiting my sister. While I was putting it back on to leave, I felt something go splat on my back. Then my niece started cackling and the smell of paint hit me. I was so pissed off while she was not apologetic at all. Her mom screamed at her and said she was grounded. Then she said she will pay for the dry cleaning. While I was in my car, still in shock BTW, I got an alert that my niece posted a reel. It was of her doing a prank on me, and she said, "I'm going to hit my aunt's $20,000 coat with a paint-filled balloon to see how she reacts." I saved it on my phone, sent it to her mom and told her that a week's grounding is not enough. She did not reply, but I saw that my niece took it down. It got less than 5 views by then. The next day I found out my coat cannot be saved, so I called my sister and told her that her daughter has to pay it back. Well, we got into an argument and she said that they will not be paying it, and if I wanted a new one, I should get my husband to buy it for me. I think that they should pay for it. They can afford to. They should sell my niece's car and pay me back my money. We did not reach an agreement, so I told her that I will be suing, and reminded her that I have video evidence that her daughter A did it on purpose for online clout and B knew exactly how expensive it was. People in my life are not objective at all. I have some calling me an idiot, some saying they are the idiot for not buying me a new one, and some so obsessed with the price of the coat that they are calling me an idiot for simply owning it and wanting a new one. So am I the idiot? Edit. Sorry for not making it clearer, but my coat was bought new, just identical to my mother-in-law's. The top reply. Not the idiot. She ruined a $20,000 coat. She wasn't even apologetic. I disagree. 6-year-olds are rarely that mean and destructive. This girl knew the value of the coat was extreme and deliberately set out to destroy it, record it, put it on social media and gain attention from it. That is a crime, and it isn't going to be a misdemeanor with a $20K value. For a prank video. For a 16-year-old, she's acting a lot like a 6-year-old. When you call the lawyer, ask him to help you go to the police station and press charges on the attention-seeking niece. Ask the lawyer to make sure to notify you when your niece will be arrested. Go film it and put it on social media. Maybe then she, and her parents, will learn that if you deliberately destroy someone's property, you replace it. Update. So here is a quick update, since the situation has been resolved. When my husband got home, I told him what happened and showed him the video. He asked if I spoke with my brother-in-law and I said no, all my conversations were with my sister. He said that he will take care of it. Now, a disclaimer. I understand nothing when it comes to insurance claims, and this is what my husband told me/I understood happened. My husband talked with my brother-in-law, told him exactly what happened and showed him the prank video. Then he told him that the coat was insured. We will be filing a claim and submitting the video, and we might have to file charges for the claim. He assured him that we would be dropping the charges. We do not want to send niece to jail. Then he told him that one of two things might happen. After our insurance pays us, they will come after them. If their insurance pays, their premium will skyrocket. If it doesn't, they might sue them, and might get a lien on their house. My brother-in-law asked if there was a way he could pay us without involving insurance. My husband told him that that was what we wanted at first, but that my sister insisted that they will not be paying us back. Apparently, my brother-in-law was not in the know, and he was very pissed off at what my niece did, and my sister's response. So they came to this solution. My niece's car will be sold, and if it doesn't fetch the whole compensation money, she will have to get a job and pay me the whole check until it is paid off. Also, she is grounded for the rest of the school year. I am thankful for the people who encouraged me to talk with my husband. The top update replies, "That's a fair outcome that avoids lifetime level consequences for the niece and still stings hard enough to make the point. Communication is always a good place to start, and very glad your brother-in-law stepped up to handle the situation appropriately." Second reply. My take on this is that the sister has some serious jealousy over original poster's fortunate circumstances, and she has expressed that within niece's hearing. Sister likely believed, family will not/cannot do what needed to be done, therefore there would be no actual consequences for her daughter's actions. Brother-in-law lives in the real world of consequences and would rather not 1. Have a lien on his house, or 2. Daughter with a criminal record. This is a reasonable niece not ending up with criminal record solution that is harsh enough to hopefully teach niece a lesson. Will she see the light anytime soon? Probably not. Especially as it is likely that sister will hold a grudge and keep talking smack about original poster behind her back. Third reply. Your sister and niece are idiots. Your brother-in-law is the reasonable one. Whether you can afford to replace the jacket isn't relevant. Willfully destroying someone's $20,000 property is a felony. You may want to mention that to your sister. TBH Op's sister is lucky her daughter decided to demonstrate this catastrophic level of poor decision-making skills when she did. Someone not only willing to ruin someone's property but eagerness to do so in such a malicious and cruel way for public attention is a loose cannon. If she hadn't done this to original poster, she would have done something similarly devastating to anyone. Having done it to a family member whose husband is willing to work with the family may instill a sense of caution in her niece. Op's sister and brother-in-law should consider themselves fortunate that their daughter's flippant willingness to engage in felony crimes was caught when it was. The third story. Am I the idiot for wanting to stick to rigid gender roles? I, 34F, have been married to my husband, 38M, for 10 years now, and we have a 9-year-old daughter. When COVID hit, I lost my job. Because I was used to being busy, I poured all my time and efforts into homemaking. My husband loved coming home to a clean house, a cooked dinner, and a wife that was not stressed. I used to work in retail, and as an introvert, it was hell. Keep in mind that I was still providing financially from my savings. Last year, I got back to work. Like I mentioned, I don't like having nothing to do, and with my daughter in school, I got bored with staying home. I was lucky to find a job that allowed me to WFH and have flexible hours. My husband, on the other hand, hated not having a housewife. After a lot of arguments, me staying with my parents for a couple of weeks, and him refusing couples counseling, I came up with an idea. I asked him what he liked about having a housewife. He mostly said what I mentioned above. So I told him that I will be taking charge of the home and childrearing, but in exchange he has to take care of our expenses on his own, like a true breadwinner. He agreed. For the last 9 months or so, I stuck to my side of the deal. The house is always clean. I make breakfast, pack his lunch, have dinner ready when he gets home, help my daughter with homework, etc. The thing is, I am still working and earning money. It's just that now, that money is mine to do with whatever I want. No longer am I helping with splitting the cost of bills and groceries. Last month I went ahead and got myself a car upgrade, and it was like I flipped a switch. Now he is saying that he wants to get back to how things used to be. I refuse. I said that I like how things are right now. He said that rigid gender roles have no place in a modern relationship, so I said that he should go invent a time machine and tell that to his past self from a year ago. He got so upset that he left home to cool off, and I think I was an idiot for how I phrased it. So am I the idiot? The top replies, not the idiot. He messed around, he found out. Remember, when you expressed reservations about playing that role, he was perfectly content to go with unfair roles so long as he thought he would get the advantage. Now he sees his own choice benefited you and wants to shift back. He sounds unreliable and like he's competing for positioning in your relationship, like he wants all the good and is content with unfairness so long as you're receiving the bad end. That's not healthy or okay. I genuinely think men only get married if they think they are getting the better end of the bargain. That the wife would have the newer car probably freaked him out. In so many relationships, the husband has the more expensive, swanky car and she has the older, used, less fancy vehicle. He looked at their two cars in the driveway and realized she isn't working as hard as she used to and now, probably for the first time in their marriage, had the better end of the deal. It's not better deal, it's working two jobs. Their agreement is that original poster's husband, by paying the shared household expenses from his individual income, is essentially hiring her to do domestic labor. Original poster does that labor. She has more disposable income because she has a second job where she gets paid directly, and that comes at the cost to her of having, I imagine, very little free time. The better deal is only in the sense that in marriages of centuries past, original poster would not have had as viable a path towards divorce and supporting herself and her child with a job. Essentially, she would not have had a realistic option to leave this financial arrangement. Plus, there would have been a more normalized, explicit expectation that he was owed sex as part of that arrangement. She doesn't have a better deal in the sense of getting more money for less work, but she does have more independence and power to leave this financial arrangement if she doesn't like it. Her job and independent income is what gives her that power, so she should under no circumstances give it up.